Residents of Ikwuano Local Government Area in Abia State held a peaceful protest on Thursday, demanding the completion of the long-delayed reconstruction of the Umuahia-Ikot Ekpene Road, a critical route connecting Abia, Akwa Ibom and Cross River States. ATN gathered that the project, awarded to Heartland Construction Company over 5 years ago, remains unfinished, with protesters highlighting the severe hardships endured by road users. During the protest, a resident, Ambrose Jonah, addressed journalists condemning the slow progress and urging the Federal Ministry of Works to accelerate the project and ensure sufficient funding for the construction. In response to the protest, the construction company's project manager, Egna Velia, attributed to the delay to funding constraints from the Federal Ministry of Works. He assured the community that temporary repairs would be carried out within a week to make the road passable during the festive season. When contacted, the Federal Controller of Works in Abia State, Tony Owubuko, confirmed that the project's progress depends on the availability of funds. Federal government is aware of the situation. Once funds are released, work on the road will resume in full swing, Owubuko said. All right, Mr. Greatman, here is the story now. Abia State's residents protesting bad road and delay in road completion. I'd like to get your thoughts on this because a lot of these things have been happening, not just Abia State. You can find this virtually everywhere, most especially even River State, so you can find it, and every other part of the state. I do not know the reason behind all of this, but I would like to get your thoughts on this.
All right, so like you said, this is some kind of situation that is not peculiar to Abia State. It's something that happens across the nation. If you come to River State, for instance, you have the East-West Road under construction that has as well claimed the life of so many people, and of course, it's under construction. A lot of progress has been made on that section of the road. So looking at the situation from Abia State, which has come up on the news headline this morning, I think it is important that we call on the federal government, the Federal Ministry of Works. First of all, we cannot just do that without complimenting the man in charge of the Federal Ministry of Works, which is His Excellency Dave Umuahia. He has been very good choice because, of course, an engineer being the Minister of Works really shows that you see the nature of job they are doing. You see the level of materials that are being used. You see that is the expertise of an engineer. So we'll start by commending the Minister of Works for the great job they are doing across the country. But as well, we will always, demand for more. And demanding for more is not out of place. It is our right. It's not a privilege for us. We have the right to demand for more because we, who are the people being governed by these persons up there, should understand that we have the right to ask for more. And they must also understand that asking for more is our right. So we are calling on them to say, look, we want speedy actions. You are saying that the section of the road is going to be put in a passable condition that's going to be a temporal thing because of the festivities. But we are even saying that, look, you should ensure that that road receives immediate attention. I don't want a situation where you put the road in a passable condition for a few weeks and then that begins to probably become the end of the whole project. Once the road is quite passable, nobody talks about it, nobody goes on air to complain, no protest will go on, and nobody's going to hear about the condition of the road anymore. So at the end of the day, it becomes forgotten. We don't want the 1 week intervention that they have mentioned to be the solution to this road. We want a quick remedy, and not just a remedy that is temporal. We want a solution, something that is quite permanent, something that, of course, what does it cost to do all of this and put all of this together? Funding is not available. This is a very paramount road network in the nation. It connects the Abia State, which is like the Abia State is more like an economic hub
in
this country. Because when you look at the Abia State, you look at Aba. Aba is there. There is nobody who talks about going to the market without mentioning Aba. It's not possible. So Aba is there, connecting Aba to Akwa Ibom and to Cross River. And of course, you know that Cross River is like a basin state connected to Cameroon, and of course, it means that foreigners can decide to come in from Cameroon to do business even in Abia State. So this road network being kept to this time is probably stalling a lot of businesses from taking place. So, of course, having commended the Minister of Works, we call on them to expedite actions on the construction or reconstruction of this road, making it passable, making it usable, and making it durable for the good citizens of Nigeria.
All right, so
the people in Abia.
Okay, so now we'll also take a look at this construction company itself. Having to wait till people protest about the bad state of the road. Does it really make sense, having to wait that residents of Abia State will have to come out to protest before they come out to say that, oh, we are going to do this road, we are going to do this work, we are going to, make sure that it's possible for people to pass, most especially during this Yuletide period. And then you talk about the Ministry of Works, right? I don't know, we feel like there should be sanctions for these people, for this construction company, because if there are no sanctions, don't you think that it will allow them to, do whatever they like, even when they've been funded to complete the roads, and on the long run they fail to complete the project? Don't you think that there should be some kind of sanctions to them?
I mean, that is why I began, from the first question you just posed, that's why I began by saying that
we need to commend them.
It is our right. It is our right to ask for it.
Okay.
It's only in Nigeria that I have seen so far that people who are in power, which we call power over here, it's supposed to be people who are in service to the people, public servants who are supposed to be serving the people, expect the people to feel that they are doing them a favor, which is totally wrong and saddening, because you are not doing us a favor. You owe us a responsibility. You owe us, it is our right to place demands on these things. These are basic amenities that should be put in place with the taxpayers' money, that should be put in place with the revenues generated from this country, from these various localities and all. So at the end of the day, making it look like we are supposed to be begging while you are doing us a favor is a big problem. We have the right to demand for what we know is basic necessity for the country to thrive. So first of all, it's sad. It's sad for the construction company, whether you have the money or you do not have the money. Based on what they just said, they said when funding comes, it means that they are alleging that funding has stalled the completion of the road. So when funding comes, you continue construction. It therefore means that while funding has not come and you are stalling the road construction due to lack of funding, you should be able to put up a public notice, perhaps a radio announcement, informing the people that due to lack of funds to proceed on this project is stalled for so and so time. This is to inform the people. Communicating to the people is important. If you go to other climes where things are working properly, you see that for a construction to take place, there will be radio announcement, there will be all kinds of announcements, there will be circulars, they will create alternative routes. They are going to ensure that people are put in a very conducive route before construction takes place. They don't just, it's in this country I see that wake up anytime and just do what we like. Somebody just wake up and close the road, road block, road closed, turn and
nothing is being done about it.
So when you also talk about the sanctions as well, I think the Federal Ministry of Works has the responsibility to sanction whoever they have contracted to deliver on a project. If we have contracted you to deliver on a project and then you are coming to say funds are stopped, then the Federal Ministry of Work has that right. It is at their own discretion to punish who they want to punish, to withdraw a contract from whoever they want to withdraw a contract from, or to proceed with whoever they want to proceed with. I think, but on the side of the people, there are other alternatives like going to the courts and seeking other intervention procedures.
Well, talking about going to the courts, do you think there's any possibility of them getting probably a positive response or result in terms of going to the court? Because it's not just about going to the courts. You know what I'm not going to say anything though, but you know how the justice system here in Nigeria looks like. So do you think that they will get, any positive response as to going to the courts, just like you mentioned?
Like you just said, you have said it all. You've said it all without saying anything. When you say going to the court in Nigeria, it becomes very scary these days because a lot of people have given up on the judiciary. A lot of people have given up on the justice system because it seems that the justice system is quite perverted, where people can see black and call it white and tell you if you do not like it, appeal, go to court, because they know that when you go to court, you cannot defeat them. So unfortunately, that is how the judiciary has painted themselves to be. They have painted themselves that way, and they have a responsibility of redeeming that image before the Nigerian people. It is very important and crucial that we do that, because most of the challenges and problems of this country that we have today are from the judicial process. I keep asking, how is it possible for some politicians and their cronies to get court judgments in less than 24 hours, to block a procedure from taking place, or to get an injunction that stops this, that stops that? Meanwhile, people have cases in court for years. People even die and leave the cases, and nobody is able to attend to those cases anymore. And they've lost justice. They've been able to gain access to justice because of that perverted judicial system. But somehow, politicians are able to find their way around getting court judgments in less than 24 hours. So it's a huge problem. But I think we cannot stop referring people to the courts as well. Even if there is counterfeits, it doesn't stop you from using the original. So I think it still remains that people should resort to when necessary.
Well, I still cannot get my head around the fact that federal government is also aware of the situation, but up until now, nothing has been done to that particular road. So I don't know, would there be anything that the federal government will have to do, probably to facilitate the construction of that road? What do you think?
From what the contractors have said, there is nothing more the federal government can do aside disbursing funds where funds are necessary. And that's why the federal government you're talking about is the Ministry of Works. The Ministry of Works is the federal government in that case, because the Ministry of Works is the one in charge of that project. So the federal government has the responsibility of fast-tracking this process by making funds available, by back-to-back supervision. You don't just, one of the things we have problems with is supervision. We contract roads to people, and then it's like breakthrough for them. It's like you're giving them a testimony. That's their breakthrough. He has already built 10 mansions from the money he was meant to use to construct the road before he even begins to start the construction process. And at the end of the day, the monies are shared and shared and shared, and what is left for the road is less than 10% of what can even do the road. And then they begin to use substandard materials just to augment and complete it. For those who even have the conscience to complete the road project, those who do not even want to do it at all will just abandon the process and walk away from it. So the federal government has key roles to play. First, if they say funding has been exhausted, make provisions for funds. If they say funding is there, go ahead with proper supervision. We need proper supervision of the road projects that are being contracted. Some of these roads are contracted to politicians, and then the politicians begin to outsource them. Before the whole outsourcing process is done, they've shared almost half of the money.